This is comfortable. Some water. I should have put wine in this. Shit. Do I have wine? Oh, water it is. Why do people do this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm having a meltdown. Are people gonna see my chin? I could not do this. That's a thing. I could not do this. I could not do this. Like, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I should do it. Why am I like this? You know, the side of my face swelled once, and I just don't think it's ever gone down. Am I gonna tell them things they don't need to know? It's great. It's great. Hi, my name is Rihanna, and welcome to my booktube channel, Paper Cuts and Ink. For my first video, I wanted to make it the newbie booktube tag. I've seen a lot of the booktubers that I watch do this. It just seemed like a really good way to introduce myself to booktube. I know that there's like some weird controversy with this tag. I don't know what that controversy is, to be honest, but it made sense to me to do it. So I'm gonna do it because why not? The first question is, why did you start your booktube channel? And I created Paper Cuts and Ink because I honestly didn't know booktube existed. I found booktube in January, this past January of 2019. I had no idea that booktube existed before that. I figured that there were people who came on YouTube and talked about books, but I didn't know that there was like a whole community of people, and it was like called booktube, and I had no idea. I happened to like stumble on a video, and it was saying, and I want to say it was a diss video about booktube. I want to say it was like issues with booktube or something like that, and I was just like, what is booktube? And so yeah, that's how I found it, and my mind was kind of blown. It's kind of a reader's, like, it's amazing. It's like finding Wonderland for readers. Like, I just was in love. I binge watched so many videos, I can't even tell you, of so many different people. And so I naturally, I think, just wanted to be a part of that. Sorry, you could see my dog's butt. His name is Zazu. Zazu, say hi. So naturally, I just wanted to join. I just wanted to be a part of that. Be a part of a community who loves what I love, and so that's why I started my channel today. Hopefully I meet a lot of interesting, cool people who I can like do buddy reads with. It's really to meet friends. It is. So the second question is, what are some fun and unique things that I can bring to booktube? I have gone over this question a lot. I have not come up with a good answer for that. I am myself, so I think that maybe anything that I bring to booktube will be unique because there's only one me, you know? I hope that I can bring like really cool ideas and, you know, challenges and readathons, and like I hope that I can be one of those people who people find to be unique and awesome, but I don't know what those things are, so we will see. To be continued, to be determined. Okay, so question 3 is, what am I most excited for when it comes to booktube? Or this channel. I'm most excited, again, just to meet friends, to meet people who have the same interest in books as me. I'm so excited to actually participate in like readathons and create readathons and create like cool content and all of that fun stuff. And so yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. It doesn't get much deeper than that. That's about it. Question number 4 is, why do I love reading? I love reading because I like the escapism of it. I've always been a reader, but reading just brings me a lot of comfort, and the escapism in reading just kind of gives you a break from life. And I've always felt that way, and I'm a really emotional person, and I think that I kind of have empath qualities, so being in the world is a lot. And I just kind of think that everybody in my generation feels that way. It's a lot being in the world. Like, it's just exhausting. And reading is a way to get away from that and get away from it all. And it means the world to me. Question number 5 is, what book or series got me into reading? I have a very, very generic answer. I'm sure this is everyone's answer. Pretty much. In the booktube community, in the world, is Twilight and Harry Potter. Those are the books that just kind of changed my life. I have grown up with the Harry Potter movies, so I was the same age as the characters in the movies. I literally grew up with Harry Potter, so as I was like reading it and watching the movies, like I was their age, and Harry Potter changed my life. Like I'd never read anything so wonderful as Harry Potter ever. I couldn't replace it on, like, I use Harry Potter movies as like background noise in my life if I'm clean. Like, Harry Potter is just everything. It's like comfort food. Twilight, I know that people feel a way about Twilight, which is understandable. The books aren't great, but Twilight is just like a really special time in my life. I had the posters, Team Edward all the way, you know, 'cause Edward. But yeah, I could never replace Twilight in my life. Like, I was late to the Twilight. Like, I didn't know Twilight until I saw the first movie on a really bad date. I haven't reread the books in a long time, mostly because I'm older now, and the books, they get worse. Like, they get worse with age, even though they're nostalgic, you know? So no. But I reread Harry Potter all the time, so. Like, I just reread Sorcerer's Stone, you know? Question number 6 is, what would I ask my favorite booktubers? I honestly wouldn't ask them anything. That's a weird, like, I just feel like that's a weird stalkerish question. And I think that booktubers already share a lot of their lives, like in their vlogs and things. It's not just them reading books. They share like their animals and their families, and so, or at least the ones that I watch. So I wouldn't ask them anything, not even really book related. Question number 7 is, what are the challenges I think I'll face joining BookTube? And I think that the challenges I'll face personally will be comments. I'm not really good at being in public, being a part of the public. What? Maybe my biggest issue or concern is that the social aspect of it. Although I would like really want to meet a bunch of people and meet friends, I know that there's negativity that comes with that, and I don't know I don't know what that will be like, but I hope that it'll be okay, and I hope that you guys are nice to me. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? I started reading, I know it's silly, but I've been reading since I could read. So I started, I don't know, like I knew how to read when I was 4. I could read like words and picture books and things like that. So I've always been a reader. I've always been able to read at an advanced level. Here's the thing, I've always read for pleasure. I've always been able to, like, I've always just picked up a book. I loved like Where the Sidewalk Ends. I loved Calvin and Hobbes when I was younger. You know, so I would read like the Disney books that had to do with the movies, and I would love to go to the bookstore with my grandfather and let him, like, he would buy me books. I've always loved reading, even when I was a kid, even when I was small. I want to say that I became like an avid reader when about 13, 14. I picked up a book at school called, I want to say it was The Whale Rider. I think it's The Whale Rider. And I just kind of kept going after that and just kept reading. And then, of course, Harry Potter and Twilight, and then it just kind of just never stopped. Question number 9 is, where do I read? I don't read in this big, beautiful poom chair. I don't. Sometimes, but not really. I will read everywhere. Question number 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? I love YA. So most of my books are YA. Right now, I'm reading mostly fantasy and mystery thrillers and books that have a fantastical element. And then maybe I'll read like 1 or 2 contemporary books during the month just to break it up, because sometimes you need a break, okay? Fantasy, being in other worlds, even though being in this world is a lot, but being in other worlds can be a lot too. It's like, there's some fantasy books you read and you're exhausted by the end. And so sometimes I just gotta be like, oh, here's this book about her best friend dying. Let's read that. Those were the 10 questions on the Newbie Booktube challenge tag thing. I'm not really sure. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys know the books that I am reading currently. I will be doing a August TBR and a July wrap up, just to let you guys know what I read last month, because I meant to make a video for that for last month. I'm currently listening to Circe on an audiobook, so I'll just put it here because I don't have a physical copy of it, but I'm really enjoying it. The next book that I'm reading is The Tales of the Beetle and the Bard. I have never read this book, which is crazy because Harry Potter is my life. I'll be reading a story before bed every night. So far I've read the first story, so we will continue this tonight, whatever, you know what I mean. The second book that I'm reading is After the Dark by Spencer Labbe. I don't really know how to say his last name. I got this book at a book signing at Barnes & Noble, at my local Barnes & Noble, and it was really awesome, and the author was amazing, and he signed, this is a signed copy, as you can see clearly there, it's a signed copy. This is about elves who have lived underground for thousands of years. I'm not really sure why they live underground, but finally a group of friends leave underground. My stuff is falling out. They leave the underground to kind of explore the world for whatever reason, and they find out that why they're underground or what they've been told isn't necessarily true, and the world is a lot different than they expected it to be, and it should be a really cool adventure. I started this, but I'm probably going to restart it because life. Gotta be honest. After that, I'm going to be reading The Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. A book about the Mayan god of death. And I don't know if it's about the Mayan god of death, but it's based on the Mayan god of... I don't really know much about this book, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm so interested in reading it because I feel like a lot of fantasy books and just books in general can be a little repetitive when it comes to what they're writing about, and a lot of the same myths, and like, I don't know, fantasy worlds repeat over and over and over, and people just kind of use them and tweak them for their books. And there's so many myths and legends and, you know, stories all over the world that I just think can be useful and can totally make an amazing book. And so I've never read a book about the Mayan god of death. I've never heard of anyone attempting to write about that, and so I'm just really excited to read this novel and see if I love it. Maybe I'll love it. I feel like I'm gonna love it. So that's what I'm currently reading. And so I will be doing wrap-ups, like I'll be doing my July wrap-up, but I do just want to put a disclaimer that, like, I'm not a professional reviewer. I'm like, my Goodreads account is trash. Like, there's not one review. I don't really even use Goodreads, to be honest. I mostly go on Goodreads to see other people's reviews, not to actually review myself. So I'm not a professional reviewer. Please don't come to my channel expecting that or being like, oh my god, your reviews suck, because I'm gonna say, okay. So that's just me being honest. Don't come for that. I just want to chat like friends and, you know, talk about some books. Talk about how great they are or how much we hate them. But thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you stay until the end of this video, you're a trooper. I fucking love you. Yes. Friends for life. I will